If you're a woman past 50 and the scale won't move no matter what you eliminate, that's not menopause being cruel. That's your mitochondria losing the ability to burn fat the way they did at 35. By the end of this video, I'll show you the exact 5 foods Amish women eat every single week to stay lean past 60, and the complete 21-day protocol I built for the women inside the Mitochondria Reset, on sale this week for $27. But first, the reason Penn State has been studying these women for almost 2 decades. Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Population mostly Amish. Lancaster General Hospital sees these women every year for routine visits. The cardiologist started noticing something almost 20 years ago that didn't match what nutrition textbooks said should happen. Amish women over 50 eat between 3,000 and 3,500 calories a day. Butter on everything, lard in the pie crusts, whole raw milk twice a day. Homemade bread at every meal, pies on Sundays, cream in the coffee, meat at lunch and supper. No counting, no measuring, no skipping meals. And yet their obesity rate is roughly 4%. Compare that to 42% for the general American woman over 50. The visceral fat numbers, the dangerous fat that wraps around the organs, are even more lopsided. The hot flash incidence is roughly 1/3 of the national average. The osteoporosis rate at 70 is about half. The rate of metabolic syndrome is barely measurable in this community. Penn State epidemiologists call this the Amish paradox. It has been studied in published papers since 2004, and it is not genetic. Women who marry into the Amish from the outside catch up to the lower rates within roughly 3 years. Women who leave the community drift toward the national average within 5, which means the difference is the kitchen, specifically what is in the kitchen and the order it gets eaten. By the way, Eleanor, 64, from Lancaster County, gained 31 pounds in the 2 years after her last period. She tried Weight Watchers, intermittent fasting, 3 different shakes, nothing budged. Then she started eating dinner 3 nights a week with her Amish neighbor, Rebecca, and watching what Rebecca actually put on the table. Eleanor didn't find what worked at her doctor's office. She found it in the first link in the description. Anyway, the first thing Amish women eat that the average woman over 50 doesn't: bone broth. Not from a carton. Real bones, cold water, a splash of apple cider vinegar, slow simmer for 18 hours minimum. Every Amish kitchen has a pot going at least 3 days a week. They start it the night before, and it cooks while everyone sleeps. Why this matters after menopause. Collagen production drops roughly 30% in the decade after estrogen falls. And that collagen loss is not just the skin you see in the mirror. It is the lining of your gut, the cushion in your joints, the connective tissue holding your belly fat distribution in place. When the structure goes, the fat redistributes, and it goes to the middle. And that is why menopausal weight gain looks different from any weight gain you had at 30. 18 hours of slow simmered bones releases glycine, proline, hydroxyproline, and gelatin in proportions you cannot get from any supplement on the market. Mount Sinai researchers measured the amino acid profile in a 2021 paper published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry. The bone broth profile matched almost exactly what menopausal women lose from their own tissue. Glycine, specifically, about 10 grams per cup of broth, is the precursor your body uses to rebuild collagen during overnight repair, and it doubles as a calming neurotransmitter, which is why women who drink broth in the evening report falling asleep faster within the first week. The second food, sauerkraut, but specifically the kind that sits on the counter for 6 weeks, not the supermarket version cooked with vinegar and sealed in a jar. 6-week fermented cabbage develops between 10 and 100 billion live bacterial colonies per spoonful. Those bacteria, particularly Lactobacillus plantarum and Leuconostoc mesenteroides, do something modern medicine has only started to map. They break down estrogen metabolites in the gut, so the metabolites leave the body cleanly instead of recirculating. Recirculating estrogen metabolites is one of the main reasons women over 50 hold weight around the abdomen even when their ovaries have stopped producing estrogen. Your liver tries to clear them, the gut bacteria are wrong or missing. The metabolites loop back into circulation through what scientists call the enterohepatic recirculation, and your body stores fat in response. The Amish woman who eats 2 tablespoons of true fermented sauerkraut at every dinner has, in effect, a customized waste removal system that the average American woman lost when she stopped fermenting anything in her kitchen. Before I go on, I need to stop for 4 minutes and tell you what happened to Eleanor, because if you recognize yourself in her story, the rest of this video changes. And if you don't, you can skip the next 4 minutes, the link's already in the description. But I think you will recognize yourself. Watch this. Eleanor is 64, lives in a small house in Lancaster County her late husband built before he died. 2 grown daughters in Philadelphia. She thought retirement would be the lightest she'd ever felt. It was the heaviest. Eleanor woke up every morning swollen. Her wedding ring she still wore wouldn't come off. By 2 in the afternoon, she needed a nap to make it through the rest of the day. Her doctor told her, "It's menopause, eat less, move more. Maybe consider hormone replacement. She tried eating less. She got hungrier and slept worse. In March, her neighbor Rebecca, Amish, 67, mother of 8, grandmother of 23, invited her for Wednesday supper. Eleanor went, expecting boiled chicken and steamed beans. What she got was roasted chicken cooked in lard, mashed potatoes with cream and butter, fermented red cabbage, sourdough bread, and a slice of choufle pie. Eleanor went home that night convinced she'd gained 3 pounds. She gained nothing. She slept 7 hours straight for the first time in 2 years. Here's why the food worked for Eleanor when nothing else did. Every diet Eleanor had tried before treated food as calories to subtract. The Amish kitchen treats food as a sequence: what to eat first, what to ferment, what fats to cook with, what time to stop eating. It's not what they eat that keeps them lean. It's the order, the fermentation, and the cutoff. The mitochondria reset is that same sequence, written down for the modern woman who doesn't have an Amish kitchen. It's not a diet. It's not a meal plan. It's the exact sequence of what to eat in the morning and what fat to cook it, what to ferment ahead of time, and what to stop after 6 in the evening that flips the autophagy window open and tells your mitochondria to burn the fat they've been hoarding since menopause. Here's what you get when you join this week. The Mitochondria Reset ebook, 7 chapters, 134 cited studies, the complete 21-day protocol adapted for women past 50. Standalone value, $47, plus 6 bonuses. The bone broth calendar with exact ratios and 3 rotation recipes, the 6 Other Mitochondria Foods with menopausal woman doses, the 21-day belly fat tracker, printable, day by day, the talk to your doctor, script for when they push hormone replacement you didn't ask for, lifetime updates, every new study, automatic forever, and only for the next 48 hours, the personal mitochondria email, where you write in once with your most important question and get a real answer from a certified specialist. Total stack value, $241. What you pay today? $27. One time, lifetime access. And if in the first 90 days it doesn't change what you wanted it to change, you write 1 email with 1 word, refund. You get every cent back. No questions, no justification. And you keep every single bonus forever, even if you ask for the refund. You're not carrying any risk on this. We are. The first link in the description takes you straight to the page. The personal email bonus disappears 48 hours after this video, so if you're going, go. Okay, back to the video. Because even if you don't pick up the protocol today, what I'm going to show you next changed Eleanor's body before she changed anything else about her routine. It's the third food. Pastured butter and lard, not seed oils, not canola, not corn, not sunflower, not soybean. The Amish kitchen has never used a single drop of any of them. Walk into a Lancaster County farmhouse, and what you find on the counter is a glass jar of bacon grease, a crock of lard, a covered dish of butter, and sometimes a small bottle of olive oil for cold use only. This is the part that confuses every woman over 50 who was taught in 1980 something that saturated fat was the enemy, that butter would clog your arteries and lard would kill you. The Amish never got that memo. They cook everything in butter, lard, and bacon grease, and their cardiovascular event rates are roughly half the American average for the same age group. Their LDL particle sizes are large and fluffy, the protective kind, not the small dense kind that drives heart disease. Here is what changed since 1980. Researchers at Harvard, Karolinska Institute, and the Cleveland Clinic, independently, went back to look at the original studies that linked saturated fat to heart disease. Those studies, the Ansel Keys studies that built the entire low-fat era, were measuring trans fats from margarine, partially hydrogenated oils, and seed oils. They were not measuring butter from grass-fed cows. The data was conflated. The advice was wrong. The retraction never made the morning news. Grass-fed butter contains butyrate, conjugated linoleic acid, vitamin K2, and a fat-soluble compound called the Wolzin factor that helps joints. Butyrate alone feeds the cells lining your colon and reduces gut inflammation that drives belly weight. Conjugated linoleic acid measurably reduces visceral fat in postmenopausal women. This is not marketing copy. It is replicated trial data. The Cleveland Clinic measured a 6% reduction in visceral fat at 12 weeks with just 2 tablespoons of grass-fed butter per day in a 2019 trial of 144 women between 55 and 70. Eat more butter, lose more belly fat, look better doing it. The fourth food, sourdough bread, but only true sourdough that has fermented for at least 24 hours, ideally 36. The kind Amish women make from a starter their grandmother handed down. Most American bread, including most of what is sold as sourdough in supermarkets, is fermented for 4 hours with commercial yeast and a splash of vinegar for flavor. That bread spikes blood sugar almost as fast as a spoonful of table sugar. Half a slice and your insulin pump kicks in. Insulin tells the body to store fat, and for a woman after menopause, that fat lands on the belly first. True sourdough fermented 24 hours or more does 3 things at once. It pre-digests the gluten, so most gluten-sensitive women can eat it without symptoms. The wild bacteria break the protein into pieces the gut can handle. It neutralizes phytic acid, an anti-nutrient in grains that blocks the absorption of iron, zinc, and magnesium, 3 minerals every menopausal woman is short on. And it produces resistant starch, which feeds your gut bacteria instead of your fat cells. The blood sugar curve on true sourdough is roughly half the curve of commercial bread. Even when the slice is the same size, you can have bread and still lose weight, if it is the right bread. Quick reminder, if the Eleanor story hits something for you and you still haven't grabbed the protocol, the personal email bonus disappears in less than 48 hours. After that, you can still get in, but the email goes away. First link in the description. Back to the video. The 5th food, and this is the one most women don't see coming. Bitter garden greens. Dandelion, mustard greens, kale, watercress, beet tops, arugula. Amish women eat these almost daily from spring through late fall. Not in a cold salad with sweet dressing, sautéed in butter sometimes with a strip of bacon, served warm right next to the main course. The combination of warm fat with bitter green is the part the modern salad bar gets wrong. Why bitter green specifically? Your liver has the single biggest job after menopause, clearing the estrogen metabolites your ovaries use to handle internally. When the liver is sluggish, those metabolites pile up. The pile-up shows up as belly weight, brain fog, breast tenderness, disrupted sleep, and that puffy feeling around the face and ankles in the morning. Bitter compounds, taraxacin in dandelion root and leaves, sulforaphane in cruciferous greens like kale, betaine in beet tops, isothiocyanates in watercress, directly stimulate bile production. Bile is the vehicle your liver uses to dump processed estrogen and stored toxins out of the body, into the gut, and out for good. More bitter, more bile, cleaner clearance, leaner body. The Amish women eat bitter at almost every dinner. That alone might explain why their estrogen-related symptoms after 50 are so mild. The University of Maryland published a 2022 review showing women who consumed bitter greens 5 or more times per week had 34% lower circulating estrogen metabolite ratios than women who didn't. Their visceral fat numbers, measured by DEXA scan, were about 18% lower at the same body weight. Same weight on the scale, less belly fat. That is the bitter green effect. Here's how the Amish actually sequence these 5 foods through a day. Morning, bone broth, sometimes with a raw farm egg whisked in for protein, alongside 1 slice of sourdough toast with a thick layer of butter and maybe a smear of homemade jam. That breakfast carries them past noon without snacking. Midday, the heavy meal of the day, meat cooked in lard or bacon grease, a serving of fermented vegetable on the side, bitter greens sautéed in the same cooking fat, and a portion of root vegetables or sourdough bread. Evening, light, often just the leftover broth with a few cooked greens, no heavy carbs after 6 in the evening. By 7, they are done eating for the day. That last part, the cutoff at 6, is what the modern world has lost. Amish women naturally fast for roughly 13 hours every night, from supper to breakfast. That 13-hour window is exactly long enough for autophagy to begin, which is the cellular cleanup process that empties damaged mitochondria and replaces them with new ones. The morning bone broth then refills the amino acid pool so the new mitochondria can be built efficiently. That sequence, the foods, the order, the fats, the timing, and the cutoff, is what the mitochondria reset codified into 21 days for women who do not have access to an Amish farmhouse kitchen. One more thing before we wrap. Going to a functional medicine clinic with the 8 problems we talked about today, menopausal weight gain, bloating, brain fog, joint stiffness, broken sleep, mood swings, hormone clearance, gut inflammation, would cost you somewhere between $1,500 and $4,000. I checked the Cleveland Clinic Functional Medicine Center pricing last month. The Mitochondria Reset gives you the same protocol, structured for the typical woman past 50. Today, with the launch price, $27. Original price was $97. 90 days money back. You keep all the bonuses. You're literally taking 0 risk on this. The personal email bonus disappears at the timer in the first link. If you're going, today is the day. Continuing. If you're already eating 2 or 3 of these 5 foods, your body is closer than you think. Most women who add the remaining ones notice the bloating drop within 10 days. The pants fitting easier comes between day 14 and day 21. The deeper sleep, that often comes first, sometimes by night 4, because the glycine from the bone broth crosses into the brain and calms the nervous system before bed. The waist measurement is usually the slowest to move but the most permanent. Visceral fat, the fat inside the abdomen, around the liver and the pancreas, is metabolically active. It releases inflammatory signals that drive more fat storage and more cravings in a cycle that gets harder to break the longer it goes on. Break the cycle with the right foods in the right order. and the visceral fat starts melting out from the inside even before the scale moves. Most women see their waist drop 1 full size before the scale shows 2 pounds gone. That is the visceral fat going first. Studies suggest, and members report, that the women who follow the full sequence, not pieces, see the change Eleanor saw. By day 60, Eleanor was 22 pounds lighter without weighing food once and without ever feeling hungry. By day 90, she was back in the jeans she wore the year before menopause started. Her doctor took her off the blood pressure medication at her 1-year visit. Her cholesterol numbers improved despite eating more butter than at any point in her adult life. Her sleep was the deepest it had been in 20 years. Individual results vary. The protocol is not a treatment for any condition. It is a structured way of eating that respects what your body needs after estrogen falls and the metabolic landscape changes. If you take any prescription medication, particularly blood thinners, thyroid medication, or anything that affects blood sugar, talk to your doctor before changing your diet significantly. The talk to your doctor. Script bonus was written exactly for that conversation. Before you close this video, one last thing. In the next 2 minutes, 2 things can happen. 1, you click the link, you pay $27. Tonight, you read the first chapter in bed. Tomorrow morning, you have bone broth and an egg before anything else. Day 4, you sleep deeper. Day 14, the bloating is gone. Day 21, your pants fit looser. Day 90, you feel like Eleanor. Back in clothes you'd packed away. Or 2, you close the video. Tomorrow morning, you wake up just as swollen as today. In 3 weeks, you don't remember this video. In a year, nothing is different. Both paths are real. Both end in a reality. The first link, the personal email bonus, closes 48 hours from now. Last thing, this knowledge doesn't belong to the diet industry. It doesn't belong to your doctor. It belongs to you and to the women who kept it alive for 200 years on small farms in Pennsylvania while the rest of the country forgot. Subscribe to this channel so no one forgets it again.